Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series about Venice in Italy. My name is Monica Cesarato and I am a Venetian food and travel blogger. I'm going to put my insider knowledge at your disposal to help you discover Venice at 360 degrees. Each week, I will be chatting to the people who really matter, the Venetian. So follow me on the discovery of its artisans, writers, fashion designers, artists, glassmakers, bloggers, and much, much more. Come to visit Venice the right and sustainable way. You can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com and also on all social media. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to Venice Talks, episode number 40. Hi everybody and welcome back to Venice Talks. Today is a very special episode because this is my 40th episode. And as a special occasion, I have two special people. These two were my first two interviewees from the first and the second episode. So today I go with me Marisa Convento and Alessia Fuga. So Vice President and Vice President of the Comitato per la Salvaguardia dell'Arte delle Perle di Vetro Veneziane, that is, the Committee for the Safeguard of the Art of Venetian Glass Beads. Ciao Marisa, ciao Alessia. How are you?
We're fine. I am fine.
You're both fine. Okay, fantastic. Right, I'm gonna start with Marisa. First of all, thank you for taking the time because I know you're very, 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 very busy. You have become very recently the president of the committee. Can you explain to everybody what is the Comitato?
First of all, the Committee for the Safeguarding of the Art of the Venetian Glass Beads is on its 10th anniversary. So
Ooh.
It was born in 2013. And it
clap,
was
clap.
Happy birthday to us. And it's the result of the gathering of a group of people involved in a way or in another in the art of the glass beads. So makers of beads, creators of jewelry or other ornaments with the beads, and also people who create the material in order for these beads to be created, like the glass rods, and of course also the instruments for the making of the glass beads.
Okay.
So it's a gathering of people that gradually became a committee and came up with this visionary idea of asking Unesco for the art of glass beads to become heritage, world heritage.
Yeah, an intangible good for.
Yes.
Alessia, what does it mean as a committee? What do you have to do to be an intangible goods? I mean, because of course we know that now you have got the recognition, but what does the committee have to do to carry on being an intangible good?
Well, actually, we have to keep going like the committee have done for, as Marisa said, these past 10 years. But now we are asked to work together with all the institutions like the Ministry of Culture of Italy and the City of Venice and all the other public institutions involved in the in the path that we have taken to take the art of glass beads to be listed in the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And we do a lot of different things. So we do it from our usual events that involves the community and people who love beads, the Venetian people, people from Italy, and people from France. You know that this work that we have made have been done with the great help of the French French community of the Perrier d'Arc de France.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to take a lot of steps, and we are going to put on programs to enhance the sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We're here.
Okay, to let the people know the art of glass bead very well, and to let this thing going on through the years.
Marisa, why is it so important for the art of bead making, of glass bead making? Why is it so important to have been recognized, and why is it so important to carry on talking about it?
Allora, let's say first of all that the glass bead art, the art of making the beads and making with the beads, it's not only something that has to do with the cultural heritage of Venice. It has to do with the cultural heritage of so many different communities all over the planet. And I mean all over the planet really with a sense. And I always say that if we would have traveled more in the outer space, probably the art of glass beads would have spread all over the galaxies. And really, we haven't traveled a lot to other planets, but I guess that we could at least start with the moon.
Okay, yes.
And so our committee is the Save Venice of the glass bead art.
Okay.
So we are literally trying to keep the art trying. We are succeeding really.
Oh yeah, of course. You're not just trying. You are keeping the art alive.
Of glass beads for the next generations. And as Alessia says, lots of different activities are involved in these, not only evaluating and keeping all of the values and the knowledge of the art, the different crafts that are related to the art of glass beads, but also in enhancing those that are the memories, the places, and even the language. Because many words have been literally invented around the art of glass bead making, and not only in Venice, but also all over the world. So it's a huge world heritage, it's a huge intangible heritage, and it's a very fine example of shared intangible heritage.
Alessia, since I know you like history, so I'll ask you this question. What the art of glass bead in Venice? Who was involved in this art? And I know it's not just about the bead makers, and I know it's not just about the bead stringers like Pimpirarese. How many type of jobs were involved when we're talking about art of glass beads?
Well, we can say that the art of glass bead have always been strictly related to everything that is, again, related with the industry of Murano glass. And then also it has been involved in a lot of in the life of the city of Venice. So it's not only Murano, but also Venice, and not only Venice as itself, but also in the mainland of Venice.
The territory, the territory.
Yeah. So as Marisa already said, it have always been a wide range of skills and art that is involved in that, from the glass masters who produces the glass and then pull the glass rods. And we know that we know that the history of glass bead making in Venice is again, it goes back to the beginning of the history of Venice itself, because one of the most ancient items made out in glass that have been found in the Venetian lagoon on the island of Torcello, that is where the people that then built Venice first arrived in the lagoon area. Well, there they have been glass beads have been found. So that means that it's something that is really related to the root of the history of Venice. And since then, it never changes. So one of the magic, I like to say magic thing about this work is that even if tools have a little bit changed through the years, through the centuries, okay, the basic of the work still the same. So I know that I'm a bead maker today, and I'm making the same kind of movement, and probably I'm thinking in the same way that a bead maker was, as taught centuries ago.
Yeah. It's okay. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. So carry on. Sorry.
And so it's still also today the thing that is not only bead makers, lamp workers, and bead stringers who is part of the community, but everyone that in a certain way touches a part of the bead, or something that you need to make a bead, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, Marisa, let's talk about the Imperial Race. I know we talked about it on the first episode, but I'm always so fascinated about the history of Imperial Race. These are the ladies that used to string the beads to be sent abroad, but they weren't just the ladies that strung the beads. They were a strong community, not just in Murano, but particularly in Venice. And they did so much for the city, didn't they?
Well, the history of the Imperialesse is so intriguing, I guess, because they've been depicted and described by many artists and many authors. And Grand Tourer, first tourists, the early tourists, they used to visit Venice, but not only Venice, they used to go all around Europe and used to stay in Venice between the 1800s and the 1900s, maybe a month or even more. Because there wasn't that very fast and furious type of tourism we have today.
Yeah, they didn't have a bucket list.
Exactly. Or an Instagram selfie to take.
Yeah, exactly.
So they would stay in Venice literally, sometime even a year. And so they would discover very deeply the town, and they would go walking all over it. And walking all over maybe Castello or Cannaregio, they would end up meeting also the Imperialesse, the bead stringers, sitting out of their homes. And it was so odd and so strange and so peculiar, the type of work they were doing, stringing these beads from this big tray of wood, full of them, these lovely little, very colorful beads made of glass and with these long needles. And with a particular skill also involved, they would really be very, very curious about it. And in fact, that's why we have so many paintings depicting and so many early photos depicting the Imperialesse. And they were strange.
And they also started a syndicate, didn't they?
They were so many, and they were so poor and so underpaid, because working at home and paid only for the bundle of beads strung, that at a certain point they started really becoming very, very upset. And they formed a sort of very spontaneous union, because actually they were not working for anybody. They were like, we could say freelance today, but in fact, they were not really organized in none way. The only way they were organized under was that lady, the mistra, the master bead stringer, would take the loads of beads to be strung from the company and would organize the work. But for the rest, they really were left abandoned on their own. So they formed a very big group and they organized the strike in 1904. I think that in 1904, even the ladies that were already working in factories, like for example, in Venice, the ladies working in the tobacco factory, the so-called tabacchine, that organized maybe a strike in 1903. So they were really the pioneers of the strikes, among the pioneers in Europe and in Italy. The beat stringers came second.
Wow.
The beat stringers started striking, and really some of them even ended in prison because they were so aggressive and so upset and so aggressive that really they were quite scary.
Okay. Oh, well, and only that most of them were from Castello, and Castello ladies who you don't mess about with the
But
ladies
let's
from
say
Castello.
that talking for myself, I am a bead stringer. And maybe the fact that you hold so many needles and those can be associated with what we call here in Italy arma bianca, which means a knife.
Yes.
You know,
and
you
some
could
of,
be dangerous.
Lisa, and some of them could hold in their hands quite a lot of those needles. So,
yes,
you know.
well, it's a legend. It's probably an urban legend. Some of them could hold 120 needles in one hand.
Oh my
God.
God.
I think that the average was between 60 and 80, which is really
still a lot. Still
a
a lot. Wow. Still a lot.
Yeah.
Alessia, let's go back to what the committee is doing at the moment. Last year, you had a brainwave that was a success. And during the Venice Glass Week, you organized, you had a brainwave, and then the committee obviously organized. I mean, you, because you're the one that kind of you were in charge of organizing, let's say. The committee organized a competition, a worldwide competition. That you're representing this year. So can we talk about this?
Yeah, sure. We are having this year the second edition of the Your Bead for Venice contest. That is an international competition, the first one, as far as we know, about the traditional Venetian glass beads. In a way that, so the aim of the contest was to try to put more light over the traditional techniques and the traditional styles of Venetian glass beads. But the people who wanted to participate could or recreate a traditional style or be
merge.
Try to find an inspiration from the traditional style.
Getting inspired. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And last year we had quite a success. We have seen application from, if I will remember, like 15 different countries.
Okay. How many participants did you get last year?
I don't remember the exact number at the moment because I'm full into this year. Yeah.
Sorry, I heard the Marisa. How many? Sorry, Marisa.
59.
Okay, but for a first edition of something very particular as well, that's a big number. That's a big number.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have finalists from 12 different countries.
Okay.
And from different backgrounds. That is the thing that I really appreciated the most. This year we are having it again.
Okay.
And we hope, well, I'm sure that it will be a great success as well. Nice thing is that it's becoming a moment where when glass bead lovers can connect and be a moment of working together and sharing experiences and knowledge. That is and that was the
mission, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the aim.
Yeah.
Do we already know, and can we say already how many people have applied? or not?
Yes, I think we had more or less the same number of last year.
Okay,
but
that's good.
from 19 different countries.
Okay.
So wedding all over the world.
Good.
And and again, we have finalists from everywhere, from obviously Italy, France,
Ooh.
USA.
Because I mean, let's explain that obviously the deadline was a while back. People have to send in their work, pictures, work, or whatever. But then it takes a while, and there is a proper committee that goes through. Is a technical committee, and then there is also a popular committee. So it is something serious. I mean, something very serious. But I mean, it's not just okay, send me your bid and let's hope it goes well. You have you were very pleased, both of you. From the standards of the bids that came last year, weren't you?
Yeah.
And
also last year and this year too, we gave a lot of value to the description of the technique that the artist wanted to use. Because once again, it was important for us to see where the people have taken their inspiration,
of course,
for the pieces. So
of course, and these people will be able to see the competition and the end results and everything during the Venice Glass Week, right?
Yes.
But yes, is in September.
People can already see the pictures of the final beads on our social media.
Okay, but we'll tell
social
at the end.
Media,
okay.
Yeah, and on the social media of our partner in crimes, there are once again l'Association des Perliers d'Arc de France and the International Society of Glass Bead Makers.
Okay, so Marisa, this is very good because it shows that all the connection that you have worldwide, the committee is, is not just Murano, it's a worldwide community.
I see, and you are very correct, and thank you for pointing this out because it gives me the possibility to also describe one that is one of the projects that we have for the future, and that is to really have Venice as a hub, worldwide hub for the everything that goes around the art of the glass bead. So we really think that Venice has one of the places in the planet that has produced the most various quantity of beads in the past. We really would like to make it become again one of the most important places that everyone that works with beads all over the world that is involved in the art of glass beads should relate with. So of course, involving the International Society of Glass Bead Makers, that are great partners of ours. And of course, our friends, cousins in France, companions of UNESCO candidation, the Association des Perliers d'Art de France, and hopefully also some more people from Japan, because we have our very good friend Maurizio Lotter, who's a Venetian, Milanese-born bead maker, artist, very, very talented, that resides and lives in Japan, has been living there for many, many years, and is trying to involve more and more also the associations of bead makers in Japan, and also the authorities, the Italian consulate and everything, so that we can really create a stronger bond with them also, because Japan is very sensible to everything that heritage and the crafts and the value of the masters. They really are.
We've seen it at Homo Faber. There was the room dedicated to Japan, and oh my God, the way they elevate handmade.
They have this institution of the master, the craft master, as a monument, a living monument.
Yeah.
So it's something that we must develop more. next step will be to involve at least 1, 2, 3 African nations.
Mm-hmm.
Because
also because
the other...
all the beads went to Africa, my God.
Allora, most of the Venetian glass beads went to Africa. They went to Americas a lot, but they really went a lot to Africa. Certain typologies of beads were called Africa here in Venice because they were bound to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So a good thing to do would be involve, for example, Ghana. Still today has a lot of traditional celebrations that are related to glass bead making and glass bead wearing. And so there is a lot of work to do. And it's actually what we do today in Venice, me and Alessia and the rest of the directive committee of the Comitato. It's a full-time job. Full-time job. It's
good. If I can, if it's okay, also the other day, part of, again, of a community, the other day somebody just opened let's say like a Lido museum, a tiny Lido museum.
Yes, it's a museo d'azienda, as we say in Italian. I don't know how that translates.
A company museum, well, a company museum, I suppose, but still good because it still shows you all. Well, you can get an idea what bead making is all about, I suppose.
Yes,
until the committee will have its own Lido museum, I hope one day. Well, shouldn't it be one of your goals to have your own Lido museum?
Let's say that our main goal at the moment is the transmission of the art. So teaching is what UNESCO actually requires the most from us. So now we are working with the institution on agreement protocols. In order to create the basis for an extended and well-programmed safeguarding plan that most of all includes the teaching, the formal teaching, as they say. So in schools, so in institutions like university, secondary schools, the workshops, really teaching in order to actually form new artists.
Of course.
And this is going to be some of our next steps. And for sure, it will involve the Museum of Glass. It will involve the City of Venice, the university, and maybe some museum or some other scholastic institution. And I don't want to say more because these
of course.
Still the plans that are on the paper on which we are working at the moment. So
well, you work for the last 10 years, you work on awareness. Now you're working on transmission, let's say.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So it's going to be like 10 years of transmission, creating the new, the new artists.
Generation.
The new generation.
With users also.
Okay. Now, question for both of you, but I'll start with Alessia. Then Marisa, you'll have the same question, okay, to answer when Alessia's finished. Alessia, where do you see the art of glass beads in 20 years?
Well, hopefully
she just dropped off a chair.
First of all, hopefully I will see it. Okay.
Oh my God, you're so young. Come on, you silly girl. She's talking she's about 90,
No. The art of glass beads survived the worst thing here in Venice, okay, and around the world, and still here today. So, and as Marisa said, because our next goal is to, having a largely given transmission of knowledges. In 20 years, I hope, for example, that there will be at least in all the Venetian schools, some special classes about the art of glass beads. And that is, as said, not only making beads, but making with beads. And it's also about knowing the traditional language related to the art and knowing the places of the city related to the art. So it really involves Venice all around. Okay. So that's what I hope for the moment.
Marisa?
I am older than Alessia, sensibly older than Alessia. I'm going to be 63 years old. So in November.
In 20 years.
So in 20 years, I'm going to be 83.
No,
so
you're going to be 63 in 20 years.
See, I go backwards. So I really I hope to trod on earth still. But if I will be here, I hope to see, first of all of the Venetian ladies wearing glass bead necklaces.
Oh, yes.
This is something that I really, it's going to be my personal mission to induce Venetian people, ladies and also gentlemen, to wear the Venetian glass beads, because I really believe that a person that visits Venice, seeing on the neck of every Venetian resident beautiful glass beads, will think that also Venice is famous for the beads, and also will be desiring to acquire some beads. I want to see the whole of mankind wearing glass beads. I want to see the planet wearing glass beads, and also some extraterrestrial
some aliens,
some alien,
on the moon.
some ET wearing the beads. I want to see the beads everywhere, because really they are such a good symbol also of friendship, of connection. They are an universal language that does not need any translation.
And if I might add, the great thing about Venetian beads, none is the same. They're all different. So it doesn't matter if somebody's got a necklace like mine. It's not like mine. It cannot be like mine, because each bead is unique. So each earring, each pair of earring, each bracelet, each necklace is totally different. So
if you give 10 beads to 10 different artists to make and to string, you will end up with hundreds and hundreds of different things, because it's really it's a sort of concentrate of human skill and fantasy. So it's really something magic.
Alessia, where are your social medias for the Comitato?
Well, we have an Instagram and Facebook. People need to look for, just look for the Committee of the Safeguard of Venetian Glass Beads, and then the page just come off. And there you can find all the activities that we're going to have from now since the end of the year. And if I may add something about, for example, September and the Venetian glass beads and the Venice Glass Week, we are having lots of activity. So if you're in Venice that week, just take a look at the program and look for us. To goes back just for a moment to the contest. People, as you say, there's a technical jury that will vote for the first, second, and third place, but we have also a People Choice Award. As last year, also this year, the beads will be shown at the Murano Glass Museum that decided to support once again us. And the bead will be shown and in the beads room of the museum. People can go there, look at the bead and vote their favorites.
Like you did last year, Okay.
Yeah. And because, as Marisa said, this is for us almost a full-time work, but it's a volunteer work. Okay, so we need the support of people.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you there, and I'm gonna throw it there to all the listeners, to everybody listening. You're always asking me for how you can help Venice, how we can help this, how we can help that. Well, this is a cause that you can support. The committee is free. It's totally voluntary work, and most of the people that work in the committee spend hours and hours and hours. Marisa spent years, not hours, years involved in this with a lot of other people, but still, but they obviously, like every volunteer committee, they need money, so they could support you economically if they cannot support you in other ways. Correct? I mean, you will not say no if somebody send a little bit of money, right?
Well, let's say that we don't have, because we are a poor committee, we don't have a proper bank account, so we cannot receive money from outside of Italy.
Okay.
But when you are in Venice, look for us, and you can subscribe to the committee, become a member of the committee, because the committee is not open only to who makes the beads or makes with the beads, but also to amateurs, hobby people.
To anybody that supports you.
Collectors, anyone that wants to support the art of glass beads can support us. So you can either rely on me or Alessia in the places where we work. And you can bring us a little money if you want, and we make you member of the committee.
It never goes to waste, because you got so many costs when you organize treasure runs, you organize also this the competitions, you organize lectures and so on.
Of work. We organize everything for free.
Yeah.
And it's a huge work. And in 10 years, we haven't received a penny from the institution. So we literally always worked with our empty pockets and our volunteers' hours.
And you still managed to achieve what you have achieved. That is amazing.
It's something very, very costly, because normally a candidation for a Unesco recognition goes around 200,000 euros.
There we go.
And we have done it with only our personal strength. And of course, I must say, with the support of the city of Venice, the region Veneto, and most of all, the support of the Ministry of Culture, the Italian Ministry of Culture, because of course the UNESCO candidation are presented by the country. But talking about money and talking about funds, we have done it with our strength.
That is amazing. So you can listen to Marisa talking on the first episode of the podcast, and to Alessia on episode number 2. But you can also go and see these ladies in Venice. You can find all the details on both episodes. They are the queens of Venice, I can say. They're my dear friends, but they're definitely the queens of Venice. Girls, it was so, I know you were both very tired because you had a long day today, and it's hot in Venice as well. Thank you so much. It was a beautiful talk, and I'll speak to you in a year time for the 80th episode, okay?
Thank you very much. We'll be pleased. Thank you for hosting us.
Okay. Ciao, care.
Ciao,
buonanotte. Thank you, bye.
Thank you again, Marisa and Alessia. You can find the Comitato on all social medias as Comitato per la salvaguardia dell'arte delle perle in vetro veneziane. Thank you again for listening. If you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com or at cookingvenice.com, and also on all social medias with the handle at Monica Cesarato and at Cooking Venice. Feel free to leave a comment or write to info@monicacesarato.com for more information about the people featured in the podcast or Venice. Bye bye!